Hello chess friends and welcome to Out of Chess channel and welcome to a beautiful game that I think could be useful in your home preparation against the London system. Welcome to an amazing gameplay by Stormphrax against Stockfish 16 from the Computer Chess Rating List website. And I think this game has so many beautiful elements of the London system for black. I think it could be really useful for you because Stockfish will play sort of a positional calm game in the beginning and then will allow in a really cool method with the pawn sacrifice to spread its wings to finally find some attacking chances. So in my opinion, really a beautiful game. So put your seatbelts on and enjoy again in a crazy gameplay by Stockfish 16. So with the white pieces, Stormphrax opened with move d4, knight to f6 by the fish, and after move c3, d5 and bishop to f4, white slowly and surely builds now this London system setup with the move e3, knight to f3, knight from b to d2 and similar stuff, bishop to e2, then castling. So always sort of a same setup here for white. After move bishop to f4, c6 by the fish, e3 by Stormphrax, and now Stockfish does sort of a reverse London system way, plays now also the move bishop to f5, is competing now against the potential bishop to d3 move. We have knight to f3, e6, and now Stormphrax immediately goes with this line, knight to h4, hitting the bishop. This position has been played in one gameplay by Jan Krzysztof Duda against Sargsyan. Here after knight to h4, what you could do is of course play maybe bishop to g5, but then you're vulnerable to some attacks with the move f3. Stockfish in the position here played now the move bishop to g6, allows here Stormphrax to pick up now the bishop here, and white is continuing down the game, we have to say it, with a good bishop pair. But the main issue I think here for white is now that the h file is open, and Stockfish will use now this h file as an attacking method in the next couple of moves. So here we have after h takes g6, knight to d2, bishop to d6. Stockfish is not tolerating the bishop pair by white in the continuation of the game, wants at least to trade off one of these bishops off the board. We have bishop to e2 and now queen to e7, preparing I think what is also a very important pattern, very important motif here, to play the move e5. e5 is I think now sort of a liberating line for black, also with the preparation maybe knight from b to d7 and then e5 breaking the position in the center of the board. Here we have kingside castling. What should you do? You can maybe here take out this bishop immediately, but then after something like this, the issue that after this particular sequence is that white will have a great grip around the square e5, so that's why Stockfish keeps it calm. After queen to e7 and kingside castling, Stockfish plays now the amazing g5. This is the way to go, and this move is very important because it forces now really a reaction here by white. If you retreat here to g3, then actually black will finally take bishop takes g3, h takes g3, and as I mentioned before, black doesn't have to castle. Now kingside will simply play, I don't know, knight from b to d7, then after something like queen to c2, here rook to h6, maybe rook to h8, and I think white is facing many tactical problems on the h file. So that's why after kingside castling, g5, bishop to d6 here by Stormphrax. Stockfish continues with queen to d6, threatens of course immediately the checkmate. Knight to f3 here is not possible because of g4, and then the knight gets again a little bit overloaded to the defense of the square h2. You could maybe try something like this, but then again knight to d7, or maybe even something like, I don't know, knight from f to d7, f6, but liberating simply this diagonal, and white will have a really tough time to defend the h2 pawn. So after queen to d6, that's why g3 here. Stormphrax is covering now finally this dark square diagonal, but also this h file attack here by Stockfish. Stockfish continues now with knight to d7, rook to c1, g6, bishop to f3, and now e5. This is the move that I mentioned is liberating now black. Black can breathe again. Black can have also great attacking chances. For instance, after d takes e5, knight to e5 comes into a beautiful way into the game, controls many squares on the board, can also play g4. Maybe again queenside castling is an option with both of these knights with the support of the queen. I think again white will have a tough time to defend its position. So that's why from move e5 we have c4. Stormphrax is trying now to open somehow the c file because Stormphrax notices of course that Stockfish could maybe castle queenside and attack then the h file. So that's why Stormphrax is trying somehow to open the c file and maybe play on this side of the board. After c4, Stockfish continues with e4, bishop to g2. We have now the move g4. Now the bishop is simply neutralized. It's paralyzed by these pawns of blacks. And now after move queen to b3, Stockfish plays first of all rook to b8. But with this move, Stockfish is also saying, I'm not going to castle queenside anymore. The whole plan that we have talked about, Stockfish changed it in one moment. Now Stockfish is trying basically to attack again this side of the board by securing the king maybe on the king side. Very flexible play by the fish. Rook to c3 by Stormphrax. Still Stormphrax is continuing the pressure here on the c file. We have castling by the fish, c takes d5, and now c takes d5. Rook from f to c1. Stormphrax occupies now the c file, has great attacking chances here, but now Stockfish shows really great attacking skills. Plays first of all knight to h7 with the preparation to get this knight on g5 and then hit the weak f3 square. That's, I think, a new target from Black's perspective. That's now a hole in White camp. Really a bad square here in White's position. After queen to a3, Stormphrax notices that it could have problems on light square, so that's why Stormphrax is trying to trade off queens, which makes perfect sense, I would say. And then of course occupying here the 7th rank. Also, if for instance black maybe retreats, then also Stormphrax could take the pawn on a7, but Stockfish calculated everything in a good way. Stockfish is saying here, no, we're not going to trade off queens. I'm on the attacking side, you can have your pawn here. But Stockfish plays now the amazing queen to e6, allows now queen to a7, and actually this move queen takes a7 is almost a dirty trap here by the fish. The queen, notice, doesn't have so many squares here because the knight is controlling the b6 square, also controls the c5 square, so the queen is a little bit misplaced, could be also attacked here on the a file. Here in the game, king to g7 by the fish, again trying to get one of these rooks on the h file, then knight to g4, knight to g5, and then knight to f3 is now the attacking plan here by Stockfish. And what should you do? If you, for instance, try rook to c7, that's what I meant. Even in some lines, after knight to g5, rook takes b7, your queen could be trapped. So here, White has to be really careful. For instance, look at this. The queen doesn't have any good square, so you could lose the game after a couple more moves. So that's why after king to g7, a3, played by Stormphrax, Stockfish continues now with knight to g5 anyway, and now queen to a4, finally getting the queen out of this mess, and of course included maybe here on the c file attack. We have a rook to h8, a rook to c7. You see Stormphrax is already on 7th rank. Seems like a very dangerous position for black to handle, but the fish is the fish. Plays now first of all a calm rook from b to d8, protects the knight, says take another pawn, I don't care, my attack here is much more important because I have placed already many pieces on the king side. We have queen takes b7, Stormphrax accepts now the challenge. We have queen to f5, rook to c7, and now Stockfish plays knight to f6. Notice now that still the knight is protecting the f7 square, so although you have a battery here, everything is glued together, everything is compact in black's position. We have queen to a7, Stormphrax continues now of course the pressure, knight, rook to f8, protecting now the f7 pawn. We have knight to f1, because there are basically not so many good moves here for White. If you try something like rook to c1 here, then the tactical issue is this move, rook takes h2. You pick up the rook, and then queen takes f2 is coming, and then there's simply no good defense anymore against rook to h8. The game is over here for White. So that's why knight to f1, played by Stormphrax, protecting now the h2 square. Stockfish continues now with knight to e8, attacks now the rook. And even if you try, I don't know, maybe to escape, maybe you're trying, I don't know, rook to d7 to not lose your rook, or maybe rook to e7, then the issue is of course this move, knight to f3, bishop to f3, g takes f3, and I'm not seeing good ways how are you going to defend this. Queen to h3, queen to g2 is going to happen, so messed up position again here for White. Black is winning the game for sure. Even if you try here maybe queen to c5 to do something, then we simply pick up the rook, and again I would say game over. After knight to e8, queen to a4, played by Stormphrax, but now Stockfish simply grabs the rook, trades off further pieces here, trades off the rooks, put more pressure against the queen. Queen goes on f4 here, and for rook to c2, b3. In this position, actually, the Stormphrax engine immediately resigned. What's the issue? Of course, black will simply play rook to c3 and will attack both of the spawns after a couple of trades of queens. Maybe here still the bishop is out of game. It's blocked out by the pawn structure. White lost the exchange, can maybe compete, but then we attack again. The knight, this knight will get back into the game. So I think we can agree completely winning endgame here for black. Great game by the fish. Interesting ideas how to play with two knights and a bishop against the bishop pair and a knight here by Stockfish 16. The h-file attack was very dangerous through the whole game. Interesting tactics Stockfish produced. Left a couple of pawns hanging, but you saw Stockfish activated the pieces in a good way and had now a very great position after 36 moves actually. Here Stormphrax resigns. So okay, I hope that you enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed it a lot. Interesting ideas of the London system from Black's perspective. If you want to see some other beautiful AI chess games like this, check out our Come to Chess Games Played by Computers with some more games played by AlphaZero, Lila0, Stockfish, and many more. And if you like this content, hit the subscribe button. See you soon with some more videos, and what do we say in the end? Chess is the best, of course.